Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well. Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter.
It is Tuesday, September 5th. For anybody watching at home or folks here also, we don't have a quorum this evening, so we'll be having a discussion meeting. The agenda is posted on the town website for anybody who wants to follow along, and we will hit a couple of items on there. We certainly always open it up first with a welcome to everybody and invite public comments. Tonight, we're not joined by anybody live in the Novak room, so I guess we can move on from that. Next, normally we go ahead and review last month's minutes and approve those, but we can't do that. So I would just encourage you guys to, in the interim, make sure we read them and be ready to approve those next meeting. And that should be in the meeting packet online as well. Really, for action items, one of the hot topics, which I think will be a great discussion, was we presented the idea of having a rolling chairperson last meeting. We weren't able to come to a decision amongst ourselves through nominations and votes to select a new chairperson. Combination of busy lives and understanding the requirements to chair. And the idea was brought up to put together a rolling chair, and I don't know, 2 weeks in to savoring this idea, we learned that according to the 1876 publication of Robert's Rules for Parliamentary Procedure, we aren't allowed to do that. So I thought it was a novel idea to help share the burden and also maybe breathe some new ideas and life into things, and then it just really can surface some new leaders and all sorts of great things. So I'd love to have that discussion on a couple of branches. One, to run that one down a little bit further. I work in an industry where the rules are made to be broken. I realize the government's different, but I certainly like to challenge that idea and just see how much of a requirement that is, where that falls on the idea of suggestion or requirement, and then also open up to other ideas that could help solve the challenge. So, certainly keeping order and having things move along in any situation, any governmental action makes a lot of sense to have a set of guardrails and rules to keep it moving. That seemed like a pretty specific, pretty hard, fast no that we couldn't do it, and so I couldn't find the place. I found a copy online. I read a little bit about it. You got to really love reading that book to dive into it, but I couldn't find the
I haven't read it.
There's other book choices as you probably could imagine from your story.
Yeah, first of all, I don't read any nonfiction book without an index. And I don't know if Robert's Rules of Order has an index. So anyway, my understanding is that this is kind of how it goes for official town committees. And that a rolling chair is, not how it works. I've had a conversation with Chetna. She indicated that the members of the committee were very much in favor of the idea. Yeah. It was fairly unanimous. Mm-hmm. So I like that. Unanimity is hard to find, and I like unanimity. My understanding, and Kristen, jump in if I'm going beyond sort of where your understanding is. My understanding is we could change the nature of the committee to accommodate this. And one of the ways is maybe make it a quarterly meeting and make it sort of an advisory committee as opposed to official committee. So kind of lessen the burden of meeting monthly, sure, which may be a lot for what the agenda is.
Sure.
Quarterly meeting with a single chair and vice chair, or if it were advisory in nature, that loosens up the rules. Is this kind of what you heard as well, Kristen?
So subcommittees are a little less stringent, but you still kind of have the same. You're just not. You don't have terms like you do other committees. So mm-hmm. that I think a quarterly option. It does seem like a little bit of a challenge to get attendance on a regular basis. I think a quarterly approach makes sense if the board is supportive of that. And I guess just in terms of support from staff, I'm here to guide, even if you're a new chair, I would be here to guide whoever through that process. It's a learning process and I get that, but sometimes it just helps to just take a leap of faith and for the sake of the committee, if you're all on board with this moving forward and, whatever that approach is, quarterly or otherwise, then we just can't follow a rotating chair
Makes sense.
Position.
You mentioned that you were familiar with other committees that had maybe a little less structure or
the quorum is still required, so I don't know that solves this particular issue.
No.
And what I've seen, and I haven't attended the last two meetings, or did you skip July?
I think we skipped July, yeah.
Okay, so I missed August. I think I was here for June. But what I've seen is, there's a lot of work that happens for this committee outside of these meetings. And that's impressive. Not every committee is that way. And you do have a full-time staff person mm-hmm. Who has other charges, but this is one of your charges. So that certainly keeps the ball rolling in between if you decide to go to quarterly meetings. And I think it would be easier to have a quorum. It would be easier to have, a standing chair and a standing vice chair.
Agreed.
So maybe that's something to investigate. once you have a quorum here.
Once we have a quorum, we certainly be glad.
Yeah, those are all things that occurred to me as I spoke with Chetna offline outside of this meeting. I actually told her I was going to get back to her, and then I never did. So my apologies on that, Chetna, when you watch this meeting. But yeah, those are the things that occurred to me as I was thinking about this issue, and that is a lighter lift for a person that's committing to a chair. So it's not rotating, but you're only committing to building agendas and running 4 meetings a year, which is a lot different than 12.
Sure. And I guess maybe the question that would be worth testing this idea against is, reviewing the charge that we've just recently renewed and just try to get a sense, whether we feel we can still, successfully navigate that and present that and meet the call and quarterly. I guess I'd maybe also say that just because we're meeting quarterly doesn't mean that we're inactive in the interim. So we certainly could be doing the work.
And in fact, I see that happening with this group. There's work happening in between meetings, which doesn't happen with every town committee.
No, it could be a very viable solution, for sure.
So again, once you have a quorum, hopefully next month, you can discuss this and decide whether you want to go that route as a group. And I'm not advocating for anything in particular. I'm just spitballing and throwing out ideas, not having read Robert's Rules of Order from beginning to end, because it doesn't have an
I know what I'm
index.
getting you for credit.
I have a copy.
The other question I'd also ask then too is, we've had monthly meetings because we've had monthly meetings, and
Yes.
we're having a discussion about having quarterly meetings because it's an idea, it's another way of measuring things. Is there anything written to the specific cadence that we had to have one? If we ended up needing 5, could we have 5? If we needed 7, could we have 7? If we needed 4, could we have 4 meetings? As long as we go through the notification process and post it online and all of the above.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you could commit to a minimum of 4, and then if you found the need for more, and the chair and vice chair and other officers were willing, then have at it.
Yeah, mostly because I'm thinking about just the different budget agendas and things like that that march through the town. We might find ourselves that the timing of a quarterly meeting might not meet what we need to do. So
Mainly, I'm suggesting, and I think you are as well, the quarterly idea, because it makes it less onerous for a standing chair and other officers. That's what occurred to me.
good.
Again, and you can ignore my suggestions.
No, it's a great suggestion. It's a really good suggestion.
I'm not invested in any particular solution, other than to find a solution.
Yeah, no, great.
I'm invested in that.
How about you guys? What thoughts have you had, if any, on cracking the code here?
Yeah, audiobook, probably the best.
Like a nap.
Right. Honestly, I think a commitment of 4 is reasonable, but, I know that I missed last meeting, and
Summer is tough.
yeah, honestly. But, I look forward to coming and meeting, and, I think that the responsibility is certainly something that needs to be looked at shifting around on the committee.
Yeah.
I wonder if the rule is rooted in responsibility for the action of the committee. There has to be a kind of a point where, head of the spear.
Buck stops here, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the responsibility should fall upon an individual.
Yeah.
Or, a vice and chair. But definitely an interesting subject. I agree that likely 12 is not necessary. But I think that more than 4 is certainly necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too, and I think the biggest shame would be that the drive behind what got this committee formed and the work done so far and the charge rewritten would not get met. I think that would be the biggest sadness of all if we couldn't pull enough of a quorum together and enough meeting together and find someone to step up and be chair would be sad. So yeah, I think we should definitely, when we have a quorum, put this on the table and see if we can come up with either a number or like you said, a minimum number that we don't fall below, and as needed, fill it with more. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If it's taking some of since we clearly don't have someone who's jumping to step up and do it, if we can take some of the responsibility off, I think it's better than not continuing.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think this group has done important work.
Yeah.
And I would hate to see it not happening. There's a lot of great work still to do,
I agree.
as your agenda shows.
All right, well, let's agree, even though we can't officially agree, but let's make sure we put this before us next month. And
group arm twisting is allowed.
absolutely. A little brow beating, that's okay.
And if you need my help, let me know. I've been known to twist a few arms. Gently, quietly.
Gently, of course. The other thing that we should definitely not miss the opportunity to chat about is the farmers market. I want to chat a little bit about that. And Kristen, I think that was something you were close to, and so please, I feel like it feels like a year ago since last month when we talked about it, but please bring us up to speed on that, and it sounds like there's still a need.
Yeah, so last month, Stephanie from the Community Power Action Committee, I think it is, came.
Also known as the aggregation.
Aggregation, thank you.
Yeah.
She came with a concept of partnering with SAC and bringing forward this opt-up campaign to get people to switch to a greater percentage of renewable power in their community power portfolio. So I had reached out. There was talk of having a table at the farmers market. September 14th is from 2:30 to 6 is when the farmers market exists. I know that Lou has committed to come, and I believe Chetna has committed to come. And it's not necessary to fill that entire window of time. I think hitting kind of like the peak hours would be ideal. And I suspect they would welcome additional members joining in that effort for whatever time you could lend.
And I wasn't sure if I could make it last month, but this time I'm certain I can make it, so you can add my name to that for sure.
Okay.
There's so much natural synergy between that aggregation committee and this committee.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's so.
And also the energy committee, as you all will know.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Yeah, a lot of like-minded people.
Yes. And it only takes a few to change things.
Great. So if others are interested, feel free to reach out to me. I can send the logistics by, but it's really just showing up.
That's great. And just so I'm aware, what time does that kick off?
So the farmers market goes from 2:30 to 6.
Okay, that's right. Okay, great. Terrific. Boy, oh boy. Honestly, we have other businesses. Look, again, we had really good success last couple seasons with pumpkin composting. That's also on our agenda for this meeting. And we'll still have time to cover that in early October for next meeting. In fact, that'll work out well. I know we've taken, last day after Thanksgiving, we completely overfilled Laney and Lou's. It was exciting at one point, being, that strong of a reaction and commitment from residents to come down there. On the other hand, I felt horrible for Laney and Lou's because we completely obliterated their composting in a really exciting way. It was completely overfull. It was wonderful. So it's a great idea, and I'm wondering, one of the things to kind of walk away tonight to think about just from a logistic perspective, since we do have a good relationship with Mr. Fox and the transfer station opportunity there, I'm wondering if we couldn't. I think it's good business for Laney Lou's, and it's a really nice showcase for her, and it really shows what a business can do downtown. But if we need to check in with Jen and see if it was either overwhelming or unsavory. But if it wasn't, I'd love to go back to that. And if it's not going to work out there, though, I think we should at least examine whether we use the transfer station as well, because I think it's super effective and sends a really good message.
So what kind of container were you filling up?
Well, really just the 64-gallon compost bins, and she has maybe 6 of them, and they were,
Did you overwhelm this?
Oh, yes, we did, yeah.
So what if we gave Mr. Fox permission to set up in the park across from this public safety, the town hall, the
Townhouse Common.
Yeah, Townhouse Common Park. What if we did it there? That's a really central location. If Jen wants to do it, by all means.
That'd be great. Or if we can work with the town to get a little parking lot space in the public lot there next to her, so that way if there's an overflow, we can manage the burden of the overflow.
Yeah. And Mr. Fox was there as well with the
They weren't. They had just dropped off the additional containers, and they weren't around for it. So maybe it's just a little work on our part to invite them along as well. As well.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was.
How much of that stuff just goes into a trash bag?
Yeah.
And you were so successful last year, and with a little more, I wasn't even aware of it, which I guess that's my bad.
No, but it was, what I loved about it, I wasn't even aware that I've never really stopped to think about all those pumpkins in the garbage and what a national tragedy that is. It was a huge opportunity right there. Yeah. And so it's a nice little effort, for sure.
Yeah. And it might pilot the idea of doing, because I'm stopping my composting in my yard because my dog won't leave it alone. And I'm contemplating hauling my compost to the transfer station, but I don't really want to do that because I just can see my car getting totally wiped out on the trip out there. But if we could maybe do a monthly with Mr. Fox in a central location where people, I think you'd get more pickup on the composting.
Sure.
It's just, again, spitballing here.
No.
But maybe pitch them on setting up a centralized collection that's not all the way out at the transfer station.
Yep.
Not to go away from what's at the transfer station by any means, but.
All right, I've got that note. I can follow up on that with Jennifer. And Jackie, was it you were the crafty person who put together the posters? Isn't that right?
Yeah, and I probably have some old email chains with Jennifer. If you want me to, I can reach back out to her.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm sure she's super busy. I guess she just opened up, the bakery just opened up, right? So that's exciting.
Is it open yet?
She's got 3 locations.
Yeah.
But she's got great people. So
Yeah.
She's very much an executive.
I will try to get a pulse from her for next time to see if she was overwhelmed, wants to do it, doesn't want to do it, and we can then use maybe next month's meeting to adjust accordingly. Either go with her or if we need a new plan.
Okay.
And you did this right around Thanksgiving?
Right after Halloween. So.
Right after Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Which I don't even know what day that falls on this year. That this year is on. Oh, how convenient! It's on a Tuesday. All the kids love to be out late on Tuesday. So we have to decide if that's going to be maybe the Saturday the 4th or something like that, November 4th. I think that 2 years ago it was something weird like that, right? It was a few days after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that might be good. People might not be ready to get rid of them
exactly.
November 1. Give them a few more days to rot a little bit, and then we'll take them.
Let them rot on the steps a little longer.
Scroll down. Exactly. Okay, good. Well, thanks for picking that up.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Other open items you guys wanted to discuss tonight. We did quickly dispose of the relatively thin agenda we had, and without being able to take any action on things. Anything else you guys want to surface tonight?
So there is budget still remaining in your line item. We're entering budget season. It's never good to have this money unspent, and I know promoting composting is something you're interested in doing, I've had really good success using those Kingsford charcoal bins because there's zero smell coming from them, and it's in our house even in the summer. Maybe, we could have an online sign up for those, and SAC could gift compost bins as a way to promote use of Mr. Fox out at the landfill.
Oh, and they don't tend to tip or spill.
No, it's great. They're watertight and
let me put my name at the top of the list. Really, the dog won't leave the compost alone.
It's just the Kingsford charcoal pails.
I have to look that up.
It's
I do not know of what you speak.
I think it's not too heavy.
We could probably maybe get a retailer to sell them to us bulk
Yeah.
with a discount.
Yeah.
Speaking of budget, at one of my first meetings I attended, there was discussion of getting a cover for the cardboard. And did you hear that happened?
I did hear that. That was super exciting, wasn't it?
It was. I showed up one day and there was this canvas. So I don't know if that had been discussed.
Listening.
Yes, it's true. Jay Perkins and his crew.
Amazing.
Who's the guy that's at the transfer station?
I don't know.
I always forget.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Don't let his stern demeanor belie his loveliness. He's great. But I always, I like him a lot. I like your idea a lot, and you probably know because you're awesome right at your fingertips how much money is left in our budget.
Yeah, I think it's $1,300. We do save some at the end of the year. We historically, the past 2 years have paid for some members of the Energy Committee, though you all might find it interesting as well to attend the local energy. Why am I having a hard time with acronyms today? LES, Local Energy Symposium, I think it is. So that's like $50 or $65 for individuals. So
But committing
easily $1,000 available for something like that.
And given your exquisite knowledge of the Kingsford charcoal bin, what do you know what the Wild Ass, guess what they retail for?
18.
Okay, great.
15,
So we can actually make a dent there.
It's actually what Mr. Fox used to, well, it probably wasn't Kingsford brand, or maybe it was. It's what they used to use for their home bins for curbside composting. That's how I found out about it, because ours broke.
And they're metal, not plastic.
Yeah, they're plastic. They are plastic.
Oh, they are plastic?
Yeah.
But reusable, so that's good.
They're reusable. No leakage.
All right, I will put my initials next to you, coming back with a plan to work with you on that plan for next meeting.
Sure. Yeah.
And boy, to be able to just promote that alongside with the pumpkin thing too, just to elevate the whole compost thing in general would
That'd be great.
Yeah, easy thing to tag onto. Kristen, what other things, if anything, did you wanted to cover?
I think that's it.
Okay. Dan, anything on surface?
I'm good.
Okay. You guys?
I'm all set.
I'm good.
Good. All right. Well, I would absolutely entertain a motion to close this meeting. Call it.
Actually, before that, you've done such a good job at chairing this meeting tonight.
It's almost like
Let me just... On that note.
Could I get a motion to adjourn this thing before I take a position in the town?
motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Oh, then I would like to leave it open to see if you can get convinced.
Yeah, we'll filibuster. On that note.
On that note, this meeting is closed. We're adjourned.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.